Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how you can easily practice alone for a couple of hours without, losing focus and, basically if you have no people around you, how to practice alone and hype yourself up basically. So the first thing, there is a huge benefit on practicing alone or with people that are completely like-minded like you. They just want to practice moves. Because when you just start out with moves, more often than not, you're just crashing around on the floor. And if everybody's jamming and you go to the middle of the floor and start trying the windmill and crashing all the time, right? This blocks the flow. Even if you're better, like you try combos, but basically you just try something and you cannot do it that, and you try it 500 times in a row. This is not what you want to see in a cypher. So even in the practice, when b-boys are jamming, they just want to jam, right? They don't want to see someone practice. Of course, it's not necessarily wrong. You're not in wrong, but still, it's like not the right thing to do, sort of. So practicing alone, this enables you to basically practice as much as you want on one single move, which is very handy, right? You can basically also crash many, many times. Some moves I just don't like to do in public because, I might fall, right? So I want to practice them first, and I prefer to practice this alone. So that's the huge benefactor. Also doing very basic stuff. So when you go and you're a little bit better, you don't want to do the most basic stuff like handstands, turtle freezes, an elbow freeze. Like this stuff is, well, for a beginner it's quite good, right? But as you get better, of course, that's kind of lame to do this in where, it's like the most basic stuff. Or a lot of stretching, like spending half hour on stretching, for instance. That's not something you do when there are other people around, right? So basically practicing alone enables you to do all that stuff, but I think the most beneficial is that you can just do one move over and over and over and over and over and try it many, many times, and then you also don't have those eyes around you that look at you when you crash every other round, right? Now, how can we keep focused when we do this? Well, the first thing is music, okay? When you practice, you should put up some music that hypes you up. So it doesn't have to be break beats, it can be anything that hypes you up, especially if you practice moves. But if you want to rock the beat or you want to prepare for battles, maybe put up some break beats and really try to, like you can work on top rocks, for instance. It's very good. Like if people who don't have room, they need to work on their top rocks. This is something you can do, so that's what you work on, right? And awesome top rocks, that's something that a lot of b-boys, of course, love. So, yeah, when you put up right music, you can get in the mood to practice, but you need something more, and that is a camera. So I'm using my phone, and I think the phone is just fine. And then what I also am using is not a standard, but actually a little block. Now, why do I use this little block? Well, it doesn't have to be this block, it can be anything. But what I do, place the block, place the camera, do my moves, go back, sit down, look at my moves, try to teach myself, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to clean? How can I do this better, right? Then do it again. So you're not necessarily filming for Instagram, but you're sort of teaching yourself. So where I'm a b-boy teacher, right? I teach this to students and kids and all that crap. So I am the teacher, but who is going to teach me? Well, I am going to teach me by looking at my stuff and thinking, okay, this is what I need to improve, and then try to improve it. So by doing that, basically two things happen. One, you keep practicing, right? You don't just doing blind 1, 5, 10 minutes of flares and then you're actually done. You don't feel it anymore. You just look at it. Okay, yeah, my leg is bent. Oh yeah, and then you go work at that stuff. But two, maybe you have when you do something cool, it's very handy for, like if you wanna, because now there's a lockdown, right? So if you cannot interact with other people, maybe you have something fun for the internet. Who knows, right? And basically, even when you just do jamming, or you just practice alone, but you just go all out with basically throwing moves or sets or runs or whatever, you film yourself. Because this will keep you in the mood to keep going, basically, and you just discard all the crap. So I have also other channel where I really go all out on that air power move and stuff, and then, that's the good stuff. A lot of that stuff is just warming up, taking it slow and all that crap, right? So you can actually use the camera, and then because you're sitting down in between and looking at yourself, you also don't get tired. That's why you can train more than 3 hours alone without actually tiring out. Because if you don't have the camera and you don't look at yourself in between, what will happen is, normally, like when you're with people, you go, okay, the other guy go, then the other guy go, then the other guy go, then the other guy go, and then you go again, right? Something like that. So in between, you have a lot of rest and you can keep going for a lot of times. Plus the energy these people give you basically allows you to keep going. But when you're alone, it's not like this, right? Or with only 2 people even, then it's still a little bit the same that, okay, you go, then you go again and again and again and again and again, because you don't have a stop in between, right? And that's why working with the camera really works. It can sort of motivate you. So yeah, that's actually what I do, and I think it's smart. Like when at least the practices I go to, all they do is jam, right? You don't really see them practice. They have some moves, like sometimes they already had it. Maybe they practice in secret, who knows, right? But basically, I never see them practice moves. Just see them jamming and then busting out all kinds of crazy moves sometimes. And you think like, how did they get this? Well, I know most of these guys for a long time, and I know they practice for it. But basically, you don't see this in practice, right? They don't practice that. They practice jamming. So by practicing alone, you can really practice on those moves, which is a good thing. You want to execute well, right? So that's it, guys. And as a beginner, I really suggest just practicing a lot. Like, you improve the most just by practicing. That's all it is. Like, if you don't spend time on it, if you do it once every 2 weeks, man, yeah, you can still do it. Maybe you get really, really good. Depends on your body, depends on, how fit you are and all this crap. But really, that's not the way it goes. Try to practice 3-4 times a week, right? Or less, but at least not 1 time a week is a little bit too, it's not enough, basically. I feel as you do 1 time a week, try to do a lot of freezes in between, right? And you do this at home. You don't do this with other people around, right? You're not going to go, oh, I'm struggling with my freezes, showing everybody this. I'm not going outside, like that's, I also sometimes go practice outside. I try to find something that's a little bit secluded, so I can just do the same move over and over and over, right? And then you basically improve a lot by practicing alone, guys. So that's it. See you next time.